Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris Bloom, and I like to tell stories about network engineering problems and how they can be solved with LiveWire. Today's story starts with an email I received from a customer asking how to identify old versions of TLS. It took me a few minutes to think about it, but I figured it out, and here's how I did it. Before we start making a filter, I just want to point out that you can easily tell whether you actually have TLS and what versions of TLS you have by going to your capture, go summary statistics, just collapse all, and you can see there's some SSL categories here. You can open up the SSL versions section and you'll see what kind of SSL you have in that PCAP. But in this case, we want to create a filter so we can actually see which packets they are. So the easiest way to create a filter is from another packet. So I happen to know that in this trace file, the packet 33 has a TLS layer in it. So I'm going to go to the packet decode, and for any one of the fields in this packet decode, I can click on the ... and say make filter. What I'm gonna do is use the version field in the TLS layer, which is 2 bytes. In this case, a 3 and a 1, as you can see here in the decode, 3 and a 1, and it's the second field. So the first field is content type. It's 1 byte at offset 54 in this case, but of course there could be TCP options. So really this layer could be anywhere, but it's the first field is offset 54, or relative to the TLS layer, it's really offset 0, and that'll be important in a minute. And the second field is 2 bytes, 55 and 56 in this case. So we're gonna go ahead and say make filter, and it's gonna give us a template for a filter. I say template because this is just the starting point. We're gonna make it better. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a name first. I throw a space in there so it'll show up at the beginning of my list. Just a little trick. Call that TLS test 2, since I've made a couple of these already. And we're gonna open up this, what we call filter node. And although it says offset 55, I want offset 1, or the second field, relative to TCP payload. We are gonna be testing 2 bytes, not 1. The mask is going to be FF, because we've got 2 bytes. There's network byte order, and the value we're testing for is 3 and 0. So hex 300. Remember, we wanted to test for 3.0 and 3.1. So we're going to make this first filter node the 3.0 filter node, and then we're going to add another value filter node, which is going to be almost identical, except the value is going to be 3.1. And now make sure it's an or, not an and, right? Because it could be either one of these that you key off of. Open this one up now, change the offset to 1, relative to TCP payload, 2 bytes, FF, network byte order, and 301, and this is 301. Okay, let's check this out. 1, yep, looks good, and we're going to hit save. And now we're back at our packet list, and we're going to test our filter. So we're going to go enter the filter. There's, I'm going to use the funnel here, and I could enter lots of different types of filters, lots of different operators, but I have a filter already built. So I selected filter, enter the name of that filter, which was TLS test 2, and let's try it. All right, it found 30,000 of them. That's awesome. And let's take a look at one. Packet 34, there it is. It's got the version. Let's look at one of these that it didn't select, and clearly there's a bunch that don't have that in it. Now let's go to the next. Let's go to, a couple of these, next. And there we go. Looks like we are finding all of the TLS packets. Happy about that. So now you can open up a trace file and search for TLS packets. And that's the end of my story for today. I hope you found it useful and fun. Talk soon. Bye.